I see no activity, so if people are there, I don't know. But it's been an awful couple videos. I think this one's corrupted too, which there's no rhyme or reason. See people just coming on now. Seems as though I'm edited and a lot of my content's gone. In the playback we'll see if you see me smoking a cigarette for quite a long time. Waited through a train. I titled this video Corruption of Trudeau and Marijuana, and really, folks, you look right now at the highly subsidized, at the expense of many industries, some service, a lot of military, and including primary sector industries, expensed for Canada's new marijuana industries. And if you haven't been following marijuana, people are losing their shirts. If you invested in marijuana, it's a losing deal. Justin Trudeau pushed this, pressed this, provincial governments and the Crown sought it out, wanted it to happen, and they got it. And I'm here today to tell you about cancer and cancer studies in relation to marijuana. Now, at the beginning of this video, which I sat for a very long time before any activity, way longer, I doubt even the fact that this video would even show that initial 5 minutes of me having a cigarette at a relatively slow pace. And cigarettes, as Canadians should know, are highly taxed, massively taxed under sin taxes. This doesn't occur for marijuana. Two things that have a flat molecule attachment that's a known carcinogen, meaning it creates cancer. Canada says smoking bad, tobacco bad. It's got the nicotine molecule, highly, extremely addictive, one of the most addictive drugs known to man in this day and age. And yet Canada exploits it, at least the Crown and the government, they exploit it. You pay more for a pack of cigarettes than a gram of marijuana finely refined and made into joints of all kinds of measure that on the street just 5 years ago would have come at a pretty penny for anybody. And the Trudeau government has clearly been able to destroy marijuana grow-ops that have been criminalized for many decades. We can go on to cocaine too, folks, and go into that in British Columbia and what they've done with that. Many other illicit, highly problematic drugs that have no business in international law being legalized, but your governments, when I say governments in Canada, that's your federal and all provincial crowns, have fully embraced a lot of it, a large margin lot of it, that the rest of the world says, no way. You look at marijuana subsidies to get this industry going right across Canada. There's no other country in the world with as much subsidy, meaning taxpayer backing, put into marijuana, unlike tobacco. In fact, it's completely 180 degrees opposite. What you put into marijuana is not comparable to tobacco. It's the other way around, which makes no sense when you look at the physical cause and effects. Did you know I researched all the Canadian tests done on marijuana and tobacco over the last 60 years? I finished that late last night. And folks, the average marijuana studies on one joint annually. Now, Canadians, I'm not an expert in medical field and research, but do you know anyone anyone you've ever met in relation to marijuana who smokes only one joint a year? Who would even finish studies and complete studies on one marijuana joint a year? Anyone doing a study like that, investing your taxpayer dollars on the idea that Canadians, on average, who partake in marijuana, smoke less than one joint a year, is cockamamie ludicrous and completely fiction. I don't know anyone who partakes in marijuana that smokes less or equivalent to one joint a year. I don't know anyone. I've never known my entire life, from my junior teens all the way through adulthood, to know anyone in Canada ever, in all my circle of people I've met, that have smoked less or equivalent to one joint a year. Why would you do studies on one marijuana joint a year unless you want fictitious results? Fictitious results. Well, it's a good thing I don't trust my Canadian Crown government. I went on to the rest of the world. In fact, all 193 UN nations. And I took their marijuana studies through their research on much, much more than one marijuana joint a year. In fact, some people, a lot of people, smoke upwards of what a pack of cigarettes is in marijuana a year. And we look at the flat molecule, the carcinogenic molecule of tobacco smoked, and we look at marijuana smoked, you find a whole different series of results in medical studies all over the world, but not in Canada. Not ever. Meaning no conservative, no liberal federally, who are the only parties to hold federal office, hold the federal crown, have ever done any studies more than one marijuana joint a year. And again, I'm going to say, and I think everyone watching this video and anyone in Canada would agree, whether you partake in marijuana or not. I'm not a regular flyer of marijuana, but I do tobacco. I know all the risks, and I know all the costs. Folks, none of the studies done in Canada remotely compare to the reality of the studies done all over the world, in majority on more than one marijuana joint a year. In fact, upwards of 12 marijuana joints a day. These studies have been done, and the cancer-causing agents of such actions are clearly published world over. Why would Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government ignore all of that? Why would they make marijuana much, much cheaper than tobacco? Why? When you know the results, especially in male destruction cancer-wide, especially in testicular cancer causing agents of marijuana, why would you continue to push it? It's called dumbing down the population at the great and tremendous expense of the subjects. They don't care how many of you die. They don't care how many in the medical field alone are going to die of cancer or how much that costs. They don't care. There's many more cancer-causing effects created from marijuana. It's not hard to figure out. I apologize again. My videos are being highly scrutinized. If you weren't there for the first 5 minutes of this video, I smoked an entire tobacco cigarette. As I inhale, I reduce the oxygen supply in my bloodstream. I basically reduce my lungs. I basically enhance the amount of toxins taken into my bloodstream directly, and I feed that to my cells. That causes damage, not only immediate, it causes damage for the long term and on the repetition of such. Marijuana does the same thing. In fact, I could grab weeds out of the grass or the wildfires. All of that does damage. We are organic cellular structures who run, our systems run and were developed in the same capacity of an engine. We are carbon processing, oxygen using in the same way that automotives do and many other processes on the earth today. Our bodies require oxygen to heal ourselves, to provide for ourselves, to create a reaction chemically in our bodies. More oxygen at a level, the better. Nitrogen, hydrogen, other things we take in. We are not designed to smoke cigarettes or smoke weed or smoke marijuana or in fact smoke anything. The reaction of the body is to cough, to get it out of the lungs. Don't take the toxins. Don't take the CO2, a carbon-based molecule. Don't take it in. It's detrimental to your biological system. That's why our eyes water in smoky atmospheres. It's why we cough, our lungs cough it out, try to cough it out. And of course, we get used to it as we partake in these actions. When we smoke things, there's all kinds of things we can smoke. They are all cancer causing. Anyone telling you they're not is a liar. So why is marijuana greatly devalued, not treated as the carcinogen it is in Canada? It's because it has other properties that dumb down the mass population. They keep the population in check. They reduce testosterone. They reduce the male enhancement. They don't want the male system coming forward. And there are massive studies that show the reduction of the male system. That's what Trudeau's doing. That's what they've always done. That's what they're going forward with. They don't tax it. It's not even a viable economic condition in Canada that should be or naturally could occur. It's not even there. The government's made sure to have all control over it at the tremendous expense of all taxpayers and absolutely at the tremendous expense of so many services. It's a fact. It's not just marijuana, it goes way beyond marijuana. But as we all know from history, if you read your history, marijuana is a gateway drug. And if you haven't been to BC, you can go there and you can get a medical prescription for cocaine, many other drugs too. And you can even get the hard version of cocaine, crack. You can get that too in BC. Many drugs. Many provinces are opening up to this. It's incredibly crazy. It's cockamamie. And it's unheard of with the rest of the world, but not in Canada. I hope people share this video. I hope people look at the absolute corruption and the cockamamie idea that there is a major difference between marijuana and tobacco. Never mind the effects it has on the brain in the short term, the high, but it's also the fact that it's cancer causing, no different than tobacco. So why is it 180 degrees the other way? Is your government doping you down? Is your government controlling you? Is your government reducing your testosterone? Are they creating cancer in the name of their autocratic engineering and strengthening of government autocracy? Well, I think the answer is clearly yes. As the rest of the world in a majority, has all the studies available for anyone to read. Studies that Canada has refused to partake in. Again, 1 marijuana joint a year. Who are you kidding? Share, get the video out. I don't know how much of the replay will be made available. I don't know how much will be cut out. My last video, Much of America and History of America, is cut out, as is the video before. It's almost like anything that Canada doesn't like me to produce in Canada is removed. Historical, real, legal truth, backed up in documented, real highest laws of nations. I don't know why anything like that would be edited out of my videos, but they clearly are. Share this video. Don't be a government-produced cuck. And that's the reality of it. Thank you. God bless. That's my video. Have a great day. Bye now.